Hey guys, it's me, Gab from Probaholic, and today I will be reviewing The Thousandth Floor by Catherine McGee. This book is actually the first one that I'm reviewing in 2017, and it's the first book that I finished in 2017. As in such, I am really glad that I picked this book in particular, not because I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I hope that all the rest of the books I read this year I like as much as I like this one. Today's video will be non-spoilery. Basically, I'll just tell you my impression of this book. I'll tell you about the main characters. I'll tell you a little bit about each and every one of them. So without further ado, let's get started. I think that from the cover and from the title, and if you know anything about this book, it will probably revolve around the fact that this book is set in a skyscraper. We have one building that covers the whole area of Manhattan as we know it today. It has 1,000 floors. So this book follows 5 main characters who live in this building. Some of them are really rich and they have everything that life can offer, and still they have a lot of problems, and they still are struggling to find themselves and to be able to express themselves. Also, we have 2 other characters who are not as good socially. They don't have as many rich friends, or they themselves have never had the opportunity to have such a luxurious life. Each of the characters is very unique and has a very strong personality, and maybe that's the reason that I love this book so much. So the first character that I'm going to discuss is Avery. She lives on the 1,000th floor, and she's the only person who lives that high up. Her parents are very rich, and they are the people who are really concerned with appearances and how others conceive them. So when they wanted to have a child, they constructed Avery using DNA alterations so that she is the most beautiful version of herself. You know how we all have genes that we actually don't get to see. For example, I might have genes that have blue eyes, but I don't have blue eyes. So the engineers, the DNA engineers, made her seem as though she's the most beautiful person, and she is the most beautiful person, even though that was not the way that she was supposed to look like, if you know what I mean. So her whole life she has been told that she's the most beautiful person, that she's perfect, and she hates it because others look at her and they don't even want to get to know her, and she feels as though she is beloved and is befriended only because of her looks. Also, she has a very huge romance issue that I won't dive into details because I don't want you to get spoiled. But technically, yeah, she's very lonely in the sense that she's not sure if people like her for who she is or for the way she looks like. So the second character is Lita, who is Avery's best friend, and even though her life is glamorous and she's very rich, her parents did not move to the building until she was 9 or 10, which makes her a bit different from the rest because she didn't grow up with such rich friends who have no insight of the outside world. She is struggling with a drug addiction, and she spent the whole summer in a rehab center. Now she's going back and she's lying about where she has been because she doesn't want to seem weak. So basically this book is about her and her weaknesses and her friendship with Avery. She also is in love with someone that she isn't sure it's a good idea to be in love with. I think that her character is very different from the rest because she has this inner conflict with herself, and she tries to tell herself that she is enough, that she does not need drugs, because she takes hyper something that makes her more alert and smarter, and she says it makes her funnier and beautiful. And the whole book, she is trying to balance the fact that she's enough with the fact that she needs more to be better. And the third character is actually my favorite character of this book, and her name is Eris. Actually, Eris is a god of chaos, a Greek god of chaos, and it resembles her character a lot. She's the girl that never has a boyfriend. She's the girl that everyone knows and everyone talks about. She's a girl that doesn't have a lot of true friends, but everyone smiles at, and I loved her character so much. She goes through a lot of development in this book because as she is about to inherit a lot of money from her dad, she figures out that her dad is not actually her dad. Change for her is huge, and the knowledge that the parents that you grew up with are not actually, or at least one of them is not actually your parent, and the way that her life transforms is just so interesting. Also, Eris is bisexual, or at least she likes boys and girls. I'm not sure as what she identifies herself as. So, I mean, she's beautiful. She's very smart. She learns to embrace her emotions. She's a diverse character, so I just loved her so badly. The fourth character is Watt, and he's actually the only male character that we see a point of view of. Watt lives on the 140th floor, which is pretty low. He has a normal life, except for the fact that he has an illegal chip in his mind. Basically, the artificial intelligence is illegal in this century, which is the 22nd century. It's illegal, but he is a hacker. He's very good with computers, so he was able to create one. So because he doesn't have a safe place to store it, he implanted it into his mind. He calls it Nadia, and actually they communicate mentally. It's really interesting how he's able to talk to women and to know what they're thinking just because he uses this chip. He also has a interaction with a lot of the characters who live on the high floors. I don't want to spoil and to tell you why, but he has different relations to most of the characters, which just makes the story even more interesting. So basically, this book is Gossip Girl in a skyscraper, which is all I needed to be convinced to read it. There is a lot of mystery in this book, a lot of romance, a lot of friendship, a lot of family drama, anything that you want. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and I can only hope that the next book is just as great as this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed reading this amazing book and its even more amazing premise.